thank you both for being here. For those of you who don't know, this is a really special session because it was actually a crowdsourced session. The festival organizers sent out a request for nominations of people who are doing extremely important work when it comes to FinTech for Good, and they were going to offer the main stage for the winners of that crowdsourced competition, I suppose, to come up here and to share their stories. And that is why we have the privilege of meeting these two wonderful people who are up here with me today. So we're going to run this slightly differently. It's not going to be a panel discussion where I speak to the both of you. They have both prepared these marvelous presentations. So we're going to begin with you, John. I hope you're prepped. Do you need to have some more water? I don't know. But the floor is yours.
Ruby was just 16 when the message came through on a popular social media app. Hello, would you like a job? Orphaned and alone, Ruby felt aimless. So this offer for a job at a computer shop on the other side of the Philippines felt like a godsend. But the woman on the other side of the message was not who she said she was. She was not a computer shop owner, though she was a tech entrepreneur of sorts. She had discovered a trend, a new way to make money online by selling live-streamed sexual abuse of children for a seemingly unlimited global market. She lured Ruby into online sexual exploitation of children, and today, it's one of the fastest growing crimes. Young children are sexually abused live in video calls for paying sex offenders around the world. These offenders hide behind their screens, streaming the abuse, camouflaged by hundreds of small money transfer payments to dozens of recipients. And the ages of the children are only getting younger. If you're like most parents, your children spend too much time in front of a screen. Netflix, TikTok, YouTube. In the Philippines and other countries, there are also girls and boys spending too much time in front of a screen. But they're not the ones watching. They are the ones being watched. International Justice Mission is a global nonprofit organization protecting people from violence by strengthening justice systems to prevent slavery, violence against women and children, and child sexual exploitation online. We do this in partnership with governments and major corporations across sectors and regions. During my first 7 years leading IJM teams, I lived with my family in the Philippines. We loved our time there. It's a beautiful country with precious people. In the Philippines, IJM partners with the government, foreign law enforcement, community organizations, and tech and financial sector to keep children safe online. I have personally been on operations led by dedicated Philippine law enforcement where I have seen children ages 7, 5, and even babies rescued from homes littered with smartphones, tablets, and dozens of money transfer receipts lying around. $30, $50 for food, school, birthday party, even when the payments are for child abuse. Money transfers from offenders in the US, Canada, Australia, the UK, and other countries in Europe. You see, this became very personal for me because every year I could match the ages of the children IJM helped rescue that day with that of my own children I was reading books to that night. You see, this is a global crime that surged during the pandemic. And this crime is enabled by internet and social media connectivity, inexpensive streaming devices, thriving international money transfer products, and perceived impunity for offenders. It's simple supply and demand. Based on research by the Australian Institute of Criminology, just 256 Australian offenders transferred a total of $1.3 million to direct and watch abuse of hundreds of Filipino children. And those were just the offenders known at the time. In fact, if you drill down and look at the payments of just one offender, he transferred nearly $130,000 through 1,780 different money transfer payments to 97 different Filipino recipients over 10 years. Wow. 10 years? He had no fear of getting caught. And you see, that's where child sexual abuse online, including live-streamed abuse, flourishes in the shadows, undetected, unreported, unmitigated. It flourishes when under-resourced justice systems, often in countries where children are most vulnerable, lack capacity to investigate these cyber and real-world crimes. But it also flourishes because safety was missing from the design of tech and financial platforms and products. Anger, outrage, sadness, all of these are right for us to feel when confronted with such violence. But we don't have to stay there. We can move to true hope and meaningful action. Because you see, it doesn't have to be this way. Innovative tech and financial platforms and products don't have to be weaponized to abuse children. And offenders don't have to find it so easy to transfer money for child exploitation online. And there is real good news. The Philippine government, in partnership with International Justice Mission, has rescued more than 1,000 victims, arrested more than 300 suspects, and convicted more than 150 people for live-streamed sexual abuse of children. And IJM and our partners are building sustainable capacity for child protection across the Philippines. So, what can tech and financial companies do? While building resilience to economic downturns, also build resilience to the criminal misuse of your platforms and products. In other words, build for safety. Now, I believe that smart companies will actually seek to leverage safety for growth and go beyond mere compliance. They will invest in improved detection, reporting, and most importantly, prevention. So, how can you do this? I want to share 3 solutions today. First, build your platforms and products safe by design, anticipating through expert consultation how they can be abused, and building in safety as a priority. Build your platforms to prevent harm, but when it happens, to quickly detect and report it so that law enforcement can do their job. Second, improve your capacity to identify suspicious transactions. And when reporting, report the maximum amount of information allowed instead of the minimum amount required. Engage in robust financial transaction monitoring using known typologies of child exploitation, and then submit meaningful suspicious transaction reports that law enforcement can use. And treat child exploitation payments more like terrorist financing or fraud by striving to detect and report within 5 days of activity instead of the 50 to 100 days commonly seen with anti-money laundering transactions. And third, partner with international justice mission programs to make communities safer. You will help protect children from harm, hold offenders accountable, and give survivors what they need to heal, thrive, and then lead. Alone, you can't prevent all bad actors from using your platforms, but together, we can strengthen justice systems so that they hold up their end of the bargain. IJM is already partnering with a few tech and financial companies to do this, some of whom are at this festival. So please join us in this fight. At this QR code, you'll find 8 specific opportunities for FinTech to be part of the solution to child sexual abuse online right now. Please scan this QR code for more information and get involved. In closing, there are many reasons why people commit crime. But one reason is intuitive. They don't think they're going to get caught. They don't think that the platform they're using will detect them, and they don't think law enforcement will either. So, no consequences, no accountability. Remember, 10 years. We can change that. Together, we can build for safety while strengthening communities so they too are safe. Together, we can rescue more rubies and prevent them from being abused in the first place. But we can't do this without the tech and financial sector. But I am confident that with meaningful partnership, real investment of resources and commitment from the global tech and financial sector, we absolutely can protect children and keep them safe online. And I believe that we will. Thank you.
John, thank you so much. Hands up, who was moved by that? You know, there was a lot that you would have found shocking, surprising. Get involved, you know, the QR code you just shared, and there's plenty of information available on the IJM website as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. Hopefully we'll have time for questions later, but in the meantime, Sucharita, it is your opportunity now to share your story.
Thank you. FinTech for Good. John just showed us how important this topic is, and we were chatting back in the green room, and I was remembering my days when I was working in an investment bank. I was working in credit derivatives and structured finance, and I was working on CDO squares, CDO cubes. FinTech finance definitely did not seem like a force for good. It seemed like a force for good for myself, but not for anyone else. But today, life has come a full circle, and I will talk to you about how finance can be such a powerful force for good. But before this, I'd like to ask perhaps the most financially sophisticated audience in the world a few questions. How many of you recently posted on social media about the last insurance policy you bought?
No hands.
Okay, no hands. Okay, I'll try another one. How many of you recently posted about the last loan you took? No hands as well. Okay, I hope I'm lucky the third time around. How many of you recently posted on social media about your holiday? Okay, I see many hands. So this is a problem, right? On the one hand, we know that every one of us has precious human capital. Every human being is born with this, but you also need finance to realize this. On the other hand, we also know that finance is clearly not exciting, and it's not intuitive, otherwise we wouldn't see the response we did in this room. Now let's switch customer segments and go outside this room. Many, many more outside this room. Let's think about how big the problem is for informal sector customers, for nano entrepreneurs, Uber drivers, Grab drivers, housemates, farmers, contract laborers. What is the problem? The problem in India is that 600 million people working in the informal sector have just no access to formal financial services that are actually right for them. Why does this happen? One main reason is that there is absolutely no financial advice to the person who actually needs this the most. Second, informal jobs actually offer no social security, no sick leave, no pensions. There is no time off. Customers are remote, speak different languages, and are very difficult to reach. And finally, people like you and me in this room have been focusing on the top 10% salaried customers and have been busy building products for the privileged, for people with salaries, for people earning regular incomes. Now, this problem is Kaleidofin's reason for existence. Our mission is to propel customers towards their real-life goals, their dreams, ambitions, by providing intuitive and tailored financial solutions. But how do we solve this problem? And how do we solve this problem for 600 million? And in fact, over 2 billion informal sector customers in the world today. Now, how do we do this today? Imagine if you were to walk in to buy a car, but you were sold a steering wheel, a gearbox, wheels separately. Would you like it? And the person told you, why don't you just assemble this car by yourself? Well, that's exactly how financial services providers actually treat the mass market customer today. Each bank, each asset manager, insurance company actually go about selling bank accounts, loans, funds, and insurance policies separately, expecting the customer to put this all together. But this is one customer, one life, several goals, just like you and me. Therefore, what we at Kaleidofin do is we actually carefully combine savings, credit, and insurance in exactly the right proportions to personalize and deliver a financial solution that can actually make your goals a reality. So how do we solve this problem at scale for everyone? Kaleidofin reaches out to the customer at the doorstep via not only a direct-to-customer app, but an assisted app used by field agents because customers need help. We recognize that. We enroll them onto the starting financial solution, KaiCash. What does KaiCash do? It combines a good, fair bank account with no charges, regular savings, goal protection, and a working capital loan. We assess the financial health of this customer actually real time and then recommend a personalized financial solution that can be executed in local language and via voice as well. The KaiCash product is backed up by the Kaleidofin platform, combining financial health assessment, Kai Score, digital payments, and a credit platform. Now let me explain how a Kaleidofin solution actually works in real life. Dhanam, the lady you see out there, she's just 33 years old, but she has a family of 4 to support. She's a dairy farmer and a sweet shop owner, and her big dream is to make sure that her daughter becomes a doctor. She wants to save $2,000 towards medical school fees. But this path is not easy for Dhanam. Now, what she really has to do is save, get money from time to time when there are emergencies and insure herself against her goals. Imagine how difficult that is living in a remote rural village in Bihar, in Uttar Pradesh, in India. What KaiCash really does is combines regular savings, so she saves very easy $10 to $20 per month in a savings account, which then gets swept up into a mutual fund. She doesn't have to do anything about this. And then when from time to time there are festivals, there are occasions to increase her income, and she makes such delicious sweets. She's not generally able to take a working capital loan, but the KaiCash solution gives her a $500 working capital loan so that she can actually buy more milk, to make more sweets, to make more money, so that her daughter can go to medical school. This is what she wants. This is what customers want, to buy financial solutions to make their real life goals happen with certainty and dignity. Now imagine if we could repeat this story over 600 million people. What would be the impact? What would be that power? Kaleidofin today reaches out to 20 million customers, of which nearly 10% are active. 1.8 million are actually active and transacting with us, and about 110,000 are active KaiCash customers. The most amazing part is that actually over 98% of our customers are women, and our women customers are saving, just like Dhanam, for their children's education. A remarkable 55% of women save for education, to improve their homes, and for emergencies. Now, making the SDGs a reality, this is a big promise that all the governments have made. All the governments have come together at the United Nations to do this. But we have to make this promise true at the level of every person. Good finance is a necessary catalyst for this to happen. And actually, with the rapid Uberization of the economy, the number of informal sectors, even in the Western world, is increasing rapidly. That number is almost 2 billion today. We believe that if every one of these customers is provided the right financial advice and an easy way to execute this, then digital finance can truly become a force for good so that every person can live a life with dignity. I'm really excited because at the Singapore FinTech Fest, we have all the people in the room to make this change happen. We are meeting here after 3 whole years because the world has been through a significant crisis. But I'm also confident that together we can solve this and we can emerge stronger. 76% of our customers actually said that their quality of life had improved, and about 2/3 reported a better ability to manage emergencies. And even though we are growing rapidly, we are just a drop in the ocean with 1.8 million customers. So my ask from you today is that come join us. We need equity investors who believe in us and believe in the value of a better life for the informal sector customer. We need more lending partners to back up our balance sheet. We need the very best people to do this, to take this mission forward. And we need partners in other emerging economies to take forward the same mission. So I invite you all to come and build for the future of a sustainable, equitable world with Kaleidofin. Thank you.
So I think at that juncture, I am allowed to ask you both a question or two, because we are near the end of the session. I think really, John, it is to find out from you. You did outline it there in the presentation, but in terms of learning, in terms of networking, which are 2 of the biggest things that you can achieve here at the FinTech Festival, what sort of learning and networking would you like to engage with here? Who do you want to talk to? And are you open to receiving inquiries about how folks in this audience, folks out there, can help?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm here, and several of my IGM colleagues are also here as well. And so we're willing to have conversations with any of the fintech companies, people who are processing money transfers, cross borders, and those who are building technology solutions, software, etc. In addition to that QR code that we shared, we also have more information here about our programs and how you can partner. And really, there's so many opportunities to collaborate and partner. A formal partnership, a sharing of consultation. If people want to set up a call after this festival is over, when they get back home, we're happy to do that as well and go deeper into IGM's model and how it's really important for the private sector and the public sector to work collaboratively in support of one another. So we're here and happy to have conversations with anyone.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Sucharita, same for you. I know you've said that you want to talk to people here. You outlined what you want to do. How can people reach you and engage you?
Well, we actually need partners on all sides. We need partners on the product manufacturing side who can actually give us the right product, work on the right product through customer research, design it, and then channel it. At the same time, we believe that the Kaleidofin mission is actually relevant for the whole world. Like I said, because of the Uberization and the increasing informal sector customers, we would also like to have partnerships with other emerging market economies, and so that Kaleidofin's mission can also really reach the whole world. So I would say both of those are very interesting for us, and like they say, money makes the world go round, so that's obviously always welcome and important to push our mission forward.
Great stuff. Thank you both for coming here to Singapore to share your stories. Thank you for sharing them with our audience. Let's give it up one more time for our guests.